This episode is brought to you by betonline.ag. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. They have you covered for all the news, scores, and odds. It's the best way to place your bets, and it's free to sign up. So head on over to betonline.ag or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's right, you'll get a 50% bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag. Hey, what's up? And welcome to the Hashtag Lakers Podcast, part of the Believe Podcast Network. I'm Yoel Agazo. I'm joined by McKay Westbrook. And today we have a special guest on the show. We'd like to welcome Darian Woods, otherwise and famously known as the pettiest Laker fan on Twitter. So, hey, Petty, welcome to the show, man.
Yo, what up, man? I appreciate you having me on, yo. I'm excited.
Yeah, man, we're excited to have you on. Glad to really have you on, man. Before we start, I'd like to get to know you a little bit. So why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
All right, cool, man. I'm otherwise, like you said, known as the pettiest Laker fan. It started out as me just on Twitter, like especially right when and I'm sure you guys are familiar with like Pete from Laker Film Room. It started out as like me on Twitter, just watching his videos, talking to him about basketball. And so just like starting to get into the Lakers NBA Twitter sphere community. And like in I want to say February or March, my following got to like about 2,000 people on Twitter. And I was like, you know what? I was seeing like the type uh of content that people were making, and I felt like, I was like, there's a spot, there's something that's missing right now, that's missing. And like I started to make the type of videos and content that I liked, right? And it just took off. It blew up, man. Like a lot of people really enjoy it and appreciate it, man. And it's kind of become like this thing that's bigger than just me. So I'm enjoying it. And like it was all about bringing like the Lakers community together. I was like shout out podcasts and people, creators, people who are making like Lakers and basketball centered content. And it's just been like really fun. It has been a labor of love. It hasn't been like work. So that's kind of where I'm, I guess, known from. And then like for me as a basketball fan, my mom played basketball in college for University of New Orleans. And when I was a kid, she, taught me basketball. Taught me about basketball and to play. And that's where my love of basketball comes from. And it just, obviously, I mean, if you're in Southern California, how can you not like the Lakers and Kobe?
Yeah, man.
So that's my long-winded. That's who I am.
Dude, I feel sorry for all the Clippers fans, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they provided me with content for a long
Yeah,
time.
man. I've seen it.
That's what they're good for. Yeah.
Exactly, man.
Oh man. Man, dude, it's been great to see all your stuff online, man. So great to have you on our show finally. I know we've been talking for weeks and we finally got you here. And dude, looking forward to hearing what you have to say on what's on our agenda today. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to talk about, right? We'll talk about LeBron James, his comments on retiring as a Laker, and then kind of contrast that with what Trez had to say online that gave us some perspective of what Trez felt about being a Laker this year. And then on the following segment, we'll talk about the Lakers' desire to acquire, quote unquote, a difference-making playmaker, and what that really means, particularly for Dennis Schroeder. And then lastly, we'll end the pod with a discussion about some other offseason rumors that happened this week. So yeah, man, let's go ahead and start, right? LeBron says he wants to finish his career as a Laker, and he had to say this on a podcast he was on earlier this week. He said, quote, "I truly hope that I can finish my career with the Lakers, however many years that is. If it's 4, 5, 6, whatever, 7. I hope I can continue to play the game. I love being in LA. My family loves being in LA. Being with a historical franchise like the Lakers is something. It's like being in Space Jam. I never thought it would be possible. You think about Kareem and Magic and Wilt and Jerry West and Elgin Baylor, Kobe, Shaq, and all of them. The whole list goes on. So, guys, like he said, 7 more years. He's like what, 36 right now? Like, how do you guys feel about LeBron? 7 years from now, finishing his career.
I kind of get the feeling that LeBron's looking to solidify his just overall his legacy here. That's the whole reason he came to LA in the first place. Apparently it sounds like he wants to play long enough to not only play with his son, but long enough to get a Space Jam 3 out there or something.
That's what it is.
And I don't know, maybe he's trying to mirror kind of what Tom Brady's doing. Tom Brady's playing well into his 40s, and he's considered by the majority of the NFL fans and community as the GOAT. I think LeBron's out there to try and do that. There are some people out there who believe LeBron James is the GOAT, but there's a lot of controversy in that. There's a lot of people who see absolutely Michael Jordan and even Kobe Bryant as holders of that title. And I think that's probably the most coveted thing that's out there right now. LeBron James wants to go and pick up some more rings. I think he's got possibility of doing that here in LA. And just to further seal that legacy and hopefully get more people to believe that he's truly the GOAT. And I think that's probably his goal.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you with the points that you made. And I kind of want to like use that as a kickstand to kind of talk about like why. I mean, to me, I think it's a perfect marriage. I mean, the Lakers worldwide brand, prestigious, one of the greatest brands in sports and outside of sports, just in general, right? And then LeBron James, what he's done as a player is solidified, but also off the court. Like, people talk a lot about the decision, the way that he went about that wasn't good, but the spirit of what he was doing, it changed the game forever. It pushed the game forward, even at the maybe hurting his legacy in the way that people view him. He changed the game forever for how players are view free agency. And then on top of that, like that combination of like that generates a lot of angst and hate. And that's like perfect for what the Lakers, with the Lakers brand, like you either love us or you hate us. And it's the same thing with LeBron James. So I think it's like a perfect marriage in that regard. And then also what he's trying to do off the court as an entrepreneur. And of course, now a movie star. It's perfect. So I would say that is my main thought. And then I love that he made sure that he mentioned Elgin Baylor in the group of players, because that is very important. That means that he knows his stuff. So
yeah, man. He knows his Laker history, dude. And dude, Bron seems very satisfied in LA. I mean, he mentioned his family, he mentioned himself, and then, dude, like Space Jam, it's coming out this Friday. We're gonna see it, and I'm gonna force my 6-year-old daughter to see it. She's seen the Michael Jordan version, but she was like 3 years old. She didn't really get it. So I'm gonna have her see both of them this weekend, and see what she thinks. But I don't know. Bron seems satisfied with his life and his experience with the Lakers, with Ginny Buss and everybody, AD. But I don't think, like, we're gonna switch topics here. I don't think everyone on that Lakers squad this year shared the same kind of energy. First of all, like we heard Drummond criticize Vogel, and then he sort of backed away, kind of. We called it cap. We called cap on it.
Yeah, I heard that last week.
blamed his NFT for it, to grab everyone's attention. And then this week, Montrezl Harrell responded to a fan who said that Vogel didn't play him because of matchup situations. And so Trez basically responded that, those were excuses, and low key called out Coach Vogel, the Lakers, and so forth. So what do you guys think about that? What do you think about Trez and his comments here?
Well, I personally, I don't look at them as shots. I personally look at them as criticism because, and I think what he's saying is obviously wrong. If we're looking at it from just like the words itself, it's wrong. Matchups do matter in basketball. It's especially in the playoffs. It's one of the most important things. I mean, championships have been won and lost by adjustments, by putting in players or removing them. But I think the spirit of what he's saying is right in the sense of his criticism for Vogel, because we all know the angst amongst Laker fans with in regards to Vogel is definitely his lineups. And I think that there is a successful lineup with Montrezl Harrell in there, but those players, like we have a lot too many cooks in the kitchen, like too many, even and too many sous chefs too. Like we had a lot of people who could be starting on other teams, and last year that was a perfect setting because of the age of some of those players. But we have a lot younger players who are still trying to get contracts and still trying to like make a name for themselves and want to play basketball. So I think that what he's saying, the spirit of what he's saying is true, but obviously, like if we're taking it for the word, that's just nonsense. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit it right on the head. Um, I mean, there's a reason why a lot of players can't become coaches. They say stuff like that. But I mean, I understand Trez's frustration. I've been a big advocate for him this whole last year playing with the Lakers. I thought he did a great job. He stayed very consistent, and even in the little stints that he got in the playoffs, I felt like for the most part he was pretty effective, pretty efficient, and I think he did get snubbed a little bit. I think it kind of sucked, the situation he was in. I think he probably didn't get the chance to prove himself to the degree that that Vogel maybe should have given him. And it's just one of those things, though. That's what we got to live with. I don't see him coming back to the Lakers after feeling that way after that kind of relationship with Frank Vogel. Because that strife between people that's not what's going to be championship basketball. That's not what's going to get us another ring. So I think for that reason alone, I don't know that we could have him back, because Frank Vogel's not going anywhere. He got us a ring in 2020. But I mean, just sad to see. I've mentioned it many times in the past. I thought Trez should have been played more. Sucks that he wasn't. But absolutely, the matchup thing is a thing. It's definitely real. How well would he have done? I don't know. Should they have given him a better shot? I think so.
Yeah. I think if he was calling anyone out, I think Trez had the right to call out to call it out, right? And to criticize Vogel, to criticize the Lakers, and the decision to not play him, especially in that our series with the Suns. I mean, he has that right, but should he have kept it in-house? Maybe. But maybe, I mean, maybe this is the sign that, like you said, McKay, maybe this is it. This is him saying, low key saying, I'm done with the Lakers. I'm going to move on. He's going to opt out and go. And if he does, like, we have to find another replacement for him. And can we do that? Is there someone out there who brings his type of energy, his type of effort, night in, night out, to replace him? I don't know. So that's a big question. But I guess maybe it's already out of our hands to kind of persuade Trez. I know he's a Klutch client. There's a lot, Lakers are practically, they're a Klutch client right now.
Klutch City, yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. It'll be interesting to see. But let's go ahead and take our first break here, and when we come back, we're going to talk about something interesting that happened about what the Lakers want on top of what Rob Pelinka had mentioned after his exit interviews, or it was the post game, that they wanted more shooting. And so this is another twist to that narrative, that desire, or our goal in the off season. So let's go ahead and take a break. Stay tuned, and we'll talk to you soon. Welcome back to the Hashtag Lakers podcast. I'm here with McKay and Petty. So, guys, Dennis Schroeder seems to be, in my opinion, he might be on his way out into a new team. At least that's what I think, right? When I read between the lines of these recent reports, one from Mark Stein and one from Jake Fisher. Mark Stein said, word is that the Lakers, on top of their well-chronicled need for more shooting, covet one more difference-making playmaker who would allow James and Davis to spend more time at power forward and center. Expect to eventually hear of them searching for potential pathways. However, obstacles strewn they would be to reacquiring restricted free agent to be Lonzo Ball for that reason. So that was another tidbit there. Then on a separate report by Jake Fisher, he said, with Schroeder notably declining the Lakers' 4-year, $84 million offer earlier this year, sources confirmed to Bleacher Report it has opened the door for Los Angeles to explore sign-and-trade opportunities this summer. The point guard, talking about Schroeder here, appears to be looking for a greater role and a bigger payday, neither of which the Lakers seemed willing to provide. Schroeder also happens to be the best trade chip Los Angeles holds to upgrade its roster. League sources expect Chicago and New York to emerge as Schroeder's suitors. Sign and trade. Okay, so so I wanted to grab your thoughts here, McKay and Petty, on Schroeder, whether he's returning or not, and if not, then who to best sign to replace it? Is it Lonzo? Is it someone else? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's I mean, Dennis Schroeder during his season with the Lakers, he had some flashes of what he could do, the way he can impact the game, his scoring ability, his high energy. But I felt like there were some inconsistencies as well during the season. He didn't shoot as great as he has in the past from beyond three. He was shooting at 33.5%, almost a 5 percentage point dip from the year previously from beyond three. And, with this focus and being better at shooting, I don't know. It might be time to move away from Schroeder. He's asking for a big payday. Where just like what you said, he's a big fat trading chip for us right now. Especially, I mean, I don't know whatever became of the rumors of acquiring Colin Sexton. That would be something incredible at the guard position. He's on the precipice of becoming an all-star, and he's a lot younger. I think with Dennis Schroeder, what we see is what we're going to get. He's in the prime of his career right now, and that's what he's going to be. Colin Sexton is incredible. That would be awesome to pick up a third option like him. I think that's what we need. We really saw, especially with the considerable amount of time that LeBron and AD missed this year, that the pieces we had just couldn't get it done. We need that supporting roster that's really going to be able to go out there and get us wins, even when our all-stars aren't out there. We saw that with a team like the Bucks in the last series of the playoffs, where Giannis missed the last few games of the series, and everybody else was still able to push through and get him to the next round. In terms of picking up somebody like Lonzo again, I think he's made great strides to improve his game. There are still some inconsistencies there, but he's starting to emerge a little more as the player that we thought he was going to be. Maybe not to the degree that we thought he was going to be. I mean, he's obviously no Magic Johnson, but he's definitely gotten better. He's changed up his shooting. He's played much better, and I think he could come out and be a great still pass first point guard for us. I don't know that he'll necessarily suit our need for somebody who can shoot the long ball, but I would not be opposed to getting Lonzo back. He was a great defensive player. I like that he's been improving. He's been getting his confidence. I don't know if he can maintain that confidence under the bright lights of LA. I hope he doesn't shrink again, like he did in his first couple of seasons with LA. But I definitely would not be opposed to getting him back.
I absolutely agree with your sentiments about Dennis Schroeder. I think, like you said, there's some consistencies. He showed me a lot, though. Also, during the season when LeBron and AD were down, he kind of was the driving force behind that, and I don't want to take that away from him at all. My issue is more about him coming up short in the playoffs, because and to me, as the most important part is when it comes to adversity, which is going to be a little bit hypocritical for who I want the Lakers to have to pick up. But I think that was my biggest issue with what about him coming back. I also think that he had mentioned that, I think I listened to him talk before, he had mentioned that he understands that it's a business. So I think that he's willing to work out something, so that he can be in the role or with the dollar amount that he wants. The main thing that I want to use this opportunity to work on my Lonzo campaign. So guys, I am for Lonzo Ball back in a Lakers uniform. It just is right. It's the right thing to do. While we were winning championships, Lonzo was in the gym. He was in the lab working. He's improved his free throw percentage. And it's not like Dennis Schroeder last year where he shot 40%, I think, from three-point. It was like, well, can he do that? He hasn't done that before. Lonzo has showed over the last year, we're seeing an incline, where he improved each year. So I think there's more validity to the improvements that I see there. I know we still have those same questions that about Lonzo, about like when the lights get bright, but his potential and ceiling is 5 times higher than Dennis Schroeder, in my opinion.
Ooh.
I think he's one of the top 5 passers in the league right now. Like, as far as ability to pass, not like knowledge, but like the passes that I see him make are just things that you would see LeBron or you would see Rondo make. They're not, and maybe that's high praise, or I'm overvaluing the aspect of his game. But I also think too, one thing that is missing in our guard lineup is we need bigger guards. We have a lot of small guards that are great defenders, but when it comes to defending some of the larger guards in our division, like when you're going to be going up against Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. If it was like a finals matchup or something like that, you could be going up against James Harden. You need some people who can defend, and Lonzo's already shown that he is a great defender. And I think when you put him with Frank Vogel, who is all about putting people in the best position to defend, again, perfect marriage.
And that'll also bring LaMelo to the Lakers too.
Yeah.
It'll
is that the plan?
It'll inevitably fulfill
go.
LeVar Ball's plan of getting his sons over to the Lakers. If Lonzo comes back to the Lakers, then LaMelo will follow, and we know how he's doing. So
yeah. I don't know about that. I just heard something that he said that he's gonna stay there forever. So I don't know about that, but things can change, dude. Things can change. Going back to Dennis Schroeder, I think when I heard this report, I thought it was like the Lakers subtly saying to Dennis Schroeder that, hey, dude, you're not a difference-making playmaker. And we need someone else. we need someone else to take over. And sorry, Schroeder, you're simply not that. I mean, how does that kind of like leak out, man? That maybe it wasn't leaked. Maybe the Lakers wanted to do it intentionally to get everybody, all the guards that would be available, could be available, to say, hey, I could be playing with Braun, man. I could be playing with Braun. So I mean, I agree with all you said about Dennis Schroeder. Lonzo, dude, that'd be great to have him back. I wouldn't have problem like you guys having him back. He shot like 37% from deep.
Yeah, almost 38.
Yeah, dude, last 2 seasons.
And I think 77 or 78% from the free throw line. That's the most important part to me as a guard.
That, I mean, look, we currently have Lakers fans, or just NBA fans saying that they'd take Lonzo over Ben Simmons right now.
Ooh.
You guys must have saw my tweet, because it upset a lot of people, guys.
Yeah,
I said, I literally tweeted out this week. It's like, am I crazy for wanting Lonzo over Ben Simmons? Not because Ben Simmons isn't better than Lonzo. We all know that the talent, like right now, Ben Simmons is better, but Lonzo's just a better fit. I mean, when he had that triple double with LeBron in the same game, that's not like something that anyone can do. It's like the last time that was done was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic Johnson. So that's rarefied air.
Yeah, man. I think Lonzo fits all the boxes. He's a playmaker, and we know when he was in the Lakers outfit, how much of a difference he made when he was out there on the court, and obviously with the Pelicans now. And he's also a defender that fits perfectly with, like you said, Petty, with Vogel's system, his defensive system. But man, let's see what happens. We're also not ruling out Kyle Lowry as well. We can do a sign and trade, but I think it's a little bit more impossible there with the numbers we got. But you know what? Let's go ahead and take our last break here. And when we come back, we'll talk about some other offseason rumors. So guys, stay tuned, and we'll talk to you guys in a minute. Welcome back to the hashtag Lakers podcast. I'm here with Petty and McKay. So, we've done this in the last couple of few episodes. So for the whole summer, we're going to break down some off-season reports, rumors on the Lakers as they come in. We have a long summer, right? So, but we want, it's going to be up to you guys to decide if you believe them or not. But on this pod, we're really going to give them the benefit of the doubt and then talk about them here. So, here we are. Here's this week's, rest of the rumors and reports. McKay, you already mentioned Colin Sexton. Per Hoops Wire sources, the Lakers are among the teams evaluating a trade for Sexton. Some of the teams in that group would be willing to take back the contract of Cavs power forward Kevin Love to help make a Sexton trade work, sources said. Others might reach out to third parties to help facilitate a deal. And all apparently remain in the exploratory stage and have yet to put together anything resembling a real offer. And then this is from Sam Amico, and he continued on to say, the Lakers are an older team that's a little short in the assets department, but possible sign and trade free agents such as Alex Caruso, THT, and Montrezl Harrell are among those that could be enticing as part of a package to opposing teams. That said, one source identified the Lakers as a team that are exploring all avenues in looking at a trade for Sexton, along with multiple other young veteran players. Another report came out. This was from Evan Massey. He said that the Lakers seem like the most likely landing spot for Carmelo Anthony if he leaves Portland in free agency. Both sides have a high level of interest in each other. And then just to note, I know we've already talked about this a lot, and this is just more info and more, I think fuel to the fire. And this is about Kuzma and the report was, I believe, by Jake Fisher, um, or I think it might be Jake Fisher, but it's the Lakers are continuing to gauge interest around the league about Kyle Kuzma. So looks like they're shopping Kuzma around. So guys, let's talk about these rumors, reports. What do you guys think of them?
So I think of all the things that you mentioned, the Carmelo Anthony thing's probably the most likely, if I had to say of all those things, because I do believe, based on the type of conversation I've seen Caruso have, the relationship that it seems like him and Bron have through social media, and from the way that he talks about him, I think he thinks really highly of the way he plays the game, and I think he fits really well alongside him. So I think we'll see. There's a more likely that we see Lakers get Carmelo Anthony than we do Colin Sexton, because I mean, Alex Caruso, THT, Montrezl Harrell. I don't think Montrezl Harrell opts in so that he can get traded. I think he opts in so that he can stay, unless he's just unless he's wanting to opt in to leave. I guess there's no likelihood of that. But I also am biased because once you put Alex Caruso in the mix, I'm like, this conversation's over. Unless you're trading me, unless you're trading me half the roster, maybe Alex Caruso for Colin Sexton straight up.
What?
No, I'm playing. No, I'm playing. I just
don't do that to me.
No, but I just love Alex Caruso and him as a Laker. So I'm a little biased, but I think that's where I stand right now.
I think that's probably right. I think Carmelo Anthony's probably the most likely to come over here in free agency. I don't know. I think the Blazers have liked the way he's played for him. I wouldn't be surprised to see them pick him back up. I think he's liked it there. I mean, we'll see though. I wouldn't doubt he'd want to go and play alongside LeBron James, coming from the same draft class. That Sexton trade, I don't know. If we could bundle it differently, I would absolutely be down. If there was somehow we take Alex Caruso and THT out and throw in Kuzma instead, let's do it. I'm down for that. But
why not Schroeder? He wants out anyway.
Yeah, no, and yeah, Schroeder, send him to the Cavs.
That's a good point.
I mean, I haven't looked at all the plausible trade scenarios. I mean, and looking at it, from an outside perspective, I think we're absolutely biased as Lakers fans looking at Alex Caruso and THT. Yeah, I mean, looking at it from an outside perspective, that would absolutely make sense. From a Lakers fan perspective, Alex Caruso just complements LeBron James too well, and THT's got such an incredibly high ceiling. I think he could very well be all-star talent here in, the next year or two. But that gives him that trade value, because I think other people can see that as well. And the THT is still a player that's got to go out there and prove himself some more. I know he's definitely proved himself in our eyes, but he's got to go out there and be able to be the man on one of these other teams. Whereas Colin Sexton, he's already doing that. He's already emerging as a player that can be the best person on a team. Would he be the best player on this Lakers squad? Absolutely not. But I think we really do need somebody of his caliber to come and be able to help us level up to that next spot, because you look at the last several years that LeBron's been on the Lakers, he's had a couple of injuries that have caused him to miss more time than he has in his entire career. our star players have been injury prone. And we need somebody that can step up, who's not afraid of the moment, somebody who's able to get it done. And, you know, it just brings me back to that game that we played against the Cavs in this last year when Colin Sexton was absolutely tearing us up. And I mean, at that moment, I was like, all right, man, this guy's for real. Like he can get it done. So, I mean, that price is high. And I don't know, but it wouldn't be the worst thing. You know, I think I would definitely be sad if that happened. I would hate to lose Alex Caruso and THT. I think Montrez is already gone. But you know, if we can restructure it somehow, let's do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, man, dude, the boy averaged 24 points this season, shot 47.5% from the field, 37% from deep. Dude, he's known around the league as a score first guard. And I think that if he joins the Lakers, I mean, one of his weaknesses is because he's a score first guard. You know, he lacks a little bit of that playmaking, and that's what the Lakers need right now, right? That's what we want to check the box on, is the playmaking. But are the Lakers willing to take a gamble on Colin Sexton? I think they should, right? I mean, the price is high. We'd probably have to take Kevin Love's contract with us. He makes like 30 something million dollars. And so we'd have to package up like the report said, the sign and trade, send Schroeder out there, send Kuzma. I don't know who else, anybody else. But then, you know, we'd get Colin Sexton, right? And I think with some time, I think he'll develop some of those playmaking skills, because he's averaging like 4.4 assists per game right now. So not bad, right? Not bad for a score first guard. I think with LeBron James teaching him, mentoring him, in that department, I think he might get better, progress on that department. So I don't know. It's a risk that I think I'd be willing to take, but I don't know if I would do it for Alex Caruso or THT. Like McKay said, maybe some other way. I mean, the report says that they're exploring all avenues to trade for Sexton. So let's see with Ricky from the late night show, Lakers, right? I'm butchering their show now. Dang it. Sorry, Ricky. But, you know, he says, in Lord Pelinka we trust.
Facts. I was going to say too, I think like the issue is like the contract, because don't get me wrong. I think that if Kevin Love was packaged with that, he could still contribute here. I think he would fit fine here. I don't think he would be like necessarily like, man, he's a guy that we can rely on. And it would obviously be a inflated contract from what his contributions would be. But again, I like to circle back to my propaganda. That's why I think that Lonzo Ball is actually a little bit more when I think about like realistic trade scenarios, because one thing that I saw, I was watching Trevor Lane's video from Laker Nation. He said the reason that the New Orleans Pelicans would be motivated to do a sign and trade is because if he doesn't do a sign and trade with the Lakers or a place that he wants to go, then he walks for nothing. So if we do a sign and trade with them, they can at least get something back. So, but I'm sure there's no love lost there with the Pelicans organization.
I mean, who won the trade?
It's actually funny you say that, because when I think about Alex Caruso and Talen Horton-Tucker, they're kind of in the position that our young players were at when we traded them, because that's what like I understand what McKay was saying, because like obviously we knew that those players were all going to be great. Like everyone who was hating on them is just because they were young and, you know, they're in LA. So you're watching every single dribble. Nobody's watching every single dribble of what's going on at the Cavs or the Pelicans, you know? So I think that they're in that same position where it's like, we know they're going to be great, but are they going to be able to be great here? And that's why like close my eyes and just like let it happen. But I, like I said, I'm Team Alex Caruso and THT. So
yeah, we're too attached. We're too attached.
We're
too attached, man.
Sometimes you got to sell the farm. That's what we did last time. I know when it happened for AD, people were so upset. Like, why didn't we just wait a year? Then we could have gotten him in free agency. We wouldn't have had to give up all of our talent that we've been growing, but look what happened in that 1 year. We picked up a ring, so it's one of those things where it's like, if we let these players go, we recognize their greatness already. On a smaller stage, they're going to excel even more. They're going to grow into the players that they need to become. And honestly, LeBron James isn't getting any younger. We got to put everything we can around him right now, and if the correct formula is to get somebody like Sexton, yeah, let's go and do it,
I agree with that. I'm with you on that. Regardless of who's in the trade, but it's about maximizing LeBron's twilight.
Right. I think I completely agree with those comments. He's 36.
He's 36. Like I said, he's Tom Brady though. He's Tom Brady of the NBA. He'll be around for another 10 years.
Yeah, by his estimation, I mean he's still got a whole another Supermax contract.
Dude,
he might.
kind of reminding me. I don't know if you guys were watching the USA games. They're kind of a joke right now, but Argentina, they have Luis Scola still playing. Dude, that guy's like 42, 43 years old, still playing. Kind of reminded me of him. Just imagine LeBron James, white hair and all. I'm sure he'll color it. So
that hairline will be completely gone by the time he retires. He's gonna retire alongside his son. So
right, old age of 60.
Yeah,
man. All right, guys, I think that does it for today. Hey, Petty, appreciate you hopping on the show today. I'm gonna give you this time real quick to just put a plug in to your show, where our listeners can find you.
Okay. What up, y'all? It's your boy, the Pettiest Laker fan. And now, thank you. I appreciate you for allowing me on you guys' show. I love what you guys are doing. And I definitely, I'm going to try and shine a light on that too, because you guys know that's what my platform is. Where you can find me, my @ on Twitter and Instagram is the Pettiest LA. Just exactly how it's spelled. And during the season, I make a video every Friday. I drop it every Friday morning. So that's no different. I'll be dropping a video to the same time that this video drops, or the same time, that this video comes out, or a podcast comes out, pardon me. So check it out.
Yeah, man. We're going to tune in as well. So you guys should too. Guys, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many other listening platforms. Do us a favor and head on over to Apple Podcasts. Subscribe and give us a 5-star review. We do appreciate the follows and all the reviews, and it'll help us continue to produce this show. You can also follow us on Twitter at #LakerPod, and we also have an Instagram at #Lakers. Guys, with that said, have a great day, root for the Lakers, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
This game's in the Admiral refrigerator. The door is closed, the lights out. Butter's getting hard, the eggs are cooling, and the jello is jiggling.